So this is a patch from the militia or of the military showing Zeppelins, which we'll be getting more into, showing the bomb squadron and that they're having an influence of what, according to their narrative, or the narrative that a lot have been given of what volcanoes are, is to support the ball earth narrative that's been stated before. Yet these are buildings damaged to differing degrees that are serving its only purpose to keep the narrative going. And as you can see here, lights, camera, action from propaganda, and it also is having a ship. It looks like Titanic, but a lot of ships look like that. There's 3 smokestacks when there's usually 4 on Titanic. But you can see here, it's including the volcano. And you can see the depictions of individuals from certain populations. You can see what's depicted here. I'm gonna say depicted, but inpict means to inpict, like N or EN or IN. D is to undo. So if Zeppelins, this is a reference where it's referencing the armored and terrible new cloud making device. And you can pause and read this yourself, or save it. And you can see here it says that the Germans, or the Germans, claim to finish a Zeppelin in a week. And there's a lot of things that's being said in articles that come out, old as in modern day or modern day. And we're going to be going into a lot to get more clarification about Zeppelins and different airships, but specifically the Zeppelins, or the Zeppelin-like, or what we're referring to as Zeppelins. But there are many different types of airships, or there's many types that can be created using field generators. And we've been given a lot of narratives that are untrue, such as the Hindenburg staged event. And there's more areas that are off limits that to the general population. You can say civilian, but there's many technologies, especially air technologies, that can be silent, which silent means full of mind, psi, and lent means full of, like biolent, full of bio, or pestilent, lent. And field generators. I was gonna say, you can talk backwards, but with your adjectives. Yet, there's many technologies that utilize field generators, especially from the old world. But showing here cloaking technology to make them invisible. And that's the thing about the title Led Zeppelin. It's LED. It's LED lights. And you have the metal band Led Zeppelin. It's LED. I was having my niece tell me one time when LED lights, the strips, were becoming really popular. And she was telling me, Uncle, I'm having LED lights. You want to see my LED lights? And I was telling her, oh, it's LED lights. And it's the same thing with the Led Zeppelin title. It's LED. And so we'll be getting into how that's relevant, because they can light up. And if they can also light up, they can create different things to where they cloak themselves. And this technology, it's been around, it's available, and it's being related to the UFO topic, or UAP, which is unidentified aerial phenomena. You see, I started with the P because the P and the F can be interchanged. Hence, PH is H's can be taken off of words. Then it's a filler. It's just to stretch the narratives and writings and publications of different sources or resources. So it has LED Zeppelins, and these says the newspaper Bund states that the Germans claim to finish Zeppelin in a week. These new airships are tested over Lake Constance, which, shout out to my sister here, as her mother's name is Constance. Says I was sharing this article with her, and I'll be bringing her up again. It's one of my twins, and we all have our own unique relationships. So every relationship you have with someone is unique. And you see here, it's acknowledging how it's sometimes two new Zeppelins are seen cruising together or with each other. To get together is to get here as well. You have the root word her. And you see here the Zeppelins arrow. I love that term arrow, because arrow is the root word for arrow gained. Someone says arrogant. Arrow, or eros, ERO, is power. Like, arrows, and you have the rays from the sun or from whatever source. And arrows, so eros or arrows. I love that, how they put the arrow on there, even though it may be a typo, but I love it. Things are very relevant. The term coincidence is two or more incidences coinciding, like two Zeppelins flying next to each other. So, are now covered with armor and carry machine guns and quick fires. They have a special device for throwing aerial, there goes the aerial reference, torpedoes, and for their betterment. The latest invention is the creation of artificial clouds, which is going to be showing another article mentioning that. I'm looking for around the Zeppelins while they are flying. This is done by releasing great volumes of fumes, making the airship almost invisible from the ground, aiding in the cloaking technology. Because I was seeing one myself at a nearby airship, as you may hear some in this recording, because there's many types of crafts I've been seeing lately and that I've seen throughout my life. I've actually seen a Zeppelin to where I was recognizing it as a UFO, but I know it now to have been a Zeppelin, and it faded into the sky. The sky was clear. It was almost at nighttime, twilight, when the sun was going down. This was back in around 2006, 2007, and it faded into the sky. It unveiled itself. It was lit up. I saw the entire ship as it was moving slowly. It was moving just like the Zeppelins move. It's kind of like ghastly, slow kind of, thing. But of course, her gate or navigation, navy is referring to water or liquid. Navy or navy gate. Gate is a type of locomotion or movement. And you can see here, of course, it's going to be so-called black and white, or a whited out photo or colorless photo. And sometimes you'll see the sepia tone photos, which has a similar effect. But you can see here, this is in picture, or a picture or a portrait. Yeah, that root word port, which is something I'm going to be going into about these terms, gates and ports. But you can see here, this is an example of how they would look, or how in general they're usually looking. And there's many narratives behind these. Back in the past decades, there were so many narratives about how the cigar-shaped UAPs are unidentified. Of course, they're identified once you know the sources, or once you're in the know about certain things. We have scout craft, and this is an entire area of information that can be going more into. But the thing is that we have a lot of things to go off of, or to be included in this information that's available, that we can at least start off. And we have here, there's many postcards and many publications depicting the old world and many other different settings that's showing these ships being utilized. And we're going to see here they get into some action. It's showing all types of capabilities, as we've seen in these articles, how a few capabilities have been mentioning, from cloaking to other things such as cloud making to enhance the cloaking. Right here we see it's daylight, and there, it's white and it's lit up like this. But see, the one I was seeing was fully lit up, so it was looking a lot like this, but without the fins, without the underneath. So there's different models or types that you'll see. We'll be given how they look like this, but there'll be a few variations, give or take, that it'll have variations in the shape and the functions, even the speed. There's a lot of footage where it shows them taking off at great speeds, the UAPs or the UFOs. And this is what we're given, where this is the inside, where Hindenburg's passengers ate and slept. You can see and pause, you can take screenshots. There's a hermetic roof, exclude hydrogen, and that's a part of this Hindenburg staged event. Is that it said that basically it's so risky because it can just be lit up and everyone inside can just die. And so it's just like the Titanic, it was similar to that, where it was this big these technologies. And this is a type of ship, this is an airship. You see the parallel between the water and something that's aerial. It's two different types of liquids, or phases of water, or forms. And then you have these narratives, to get people to think in a certain way or direction based off of what's being done and utilized in the present day. You can see here there's a dining area, and we'll get some real up-to-date photos, and you'll find people with presentations and more information, but this is an overview of a lot of what will be shown in different presentations and the narrative as a whole, and where we're finding the narrative present day or current day. And the day can refer to the night as well. A day, this is all new segments. Segment, and seg is referring to in sequence. So you can interchange the G and the C, and seg will be sec. Sec is secular, sequential, and then of course you can use the Q, which makes the K sound. And succession, you see all these words go into all these other things, and the meaning is all the commonality between everything. So segment is sequential, mental, or segment. So So present day would be, yeah, the moment or the movement of where you are. And the language is all in part of all of this, because as you can see here, they're using the term hermetic roof. Yeah, the reading and waiting room, but these are all relevant, that's it's right there. Ocu means, occupy, or ocular. Oculus is all to see. You have occult. It's all there for you to see. So, as you can see here, this is a photograph, or more realistic, of what you would see, or an example of what it would look like inside of one of these models. And it's very, you can say, convenient, yet the way that these are built, it's for ease. You can sit here, and the fact that they're lean like this type of model, it's less threatening, especially for heights. And it makes a lot of sense, because these are going to be at exponential heights inside of the atmosphere. They say atmosphere, yet the air, yet this decreases the fear factor, because when you're in tall buildings, sometimes when you're next to a window, it could be, you can get used to it, but that slant style is very intentional. And as you can see here, this is an depiction of the interior. Now, there can be different variations, because you can see that majority of this is hollowed out. This can be a phase of the construction, or the building, the edification of it. But this is an example of what we're being shown. And you can imagine, this is the outline of what we see on the outside of the body versus the inside. And as you can see here, pan back, and you can pause, take a screenshot, zoom in on the different indications that it's pointing out to look more into the building of these types. But as you can see here, it's showing that it's really blanc. The coloring on the outside, a reflective surface suggesting. And as we know, the technologies are used, like these things light up, and that's exactly why they're called, well, we were given the name LED ZepLin. The term ZepLin even goes into the term Zephyr, which is going to the term cipher or cipher. As we know, that's going into geometry, which in Greek, that's gematria. So we're essentially speaking Greek, and it all goes to phonetics. And this one's a little bit more elongated. And as you can see, function-wise, and you see we have an airship in the background here where I am. It's a helicopter. There's another helio term, or alio, or allio, because L is all as well. So just stating the phrase all is well. I'm telling you. But yes, this one's a little more elongated, and it goes into like whales and even other vessel types. That's biological. But just different functionalities, analogousness or convergentness. So as you can see here, there's actually an extra set of windows with these slanted windows, which is smart because you can feel like you can put your weight on it and bust out. So that takes care of that. But I'm sure there's different parameters. See it like this one. You can see here. There's panels. I'm sure you can lean on them. There's different ways it can be utilized, but there's safe holes that have to be in place. This is more interior here. And I really want to take my time with this just to really show and to be able to have a dialogue, to really take the time to show something in my own unique take or presentation, to be able to present this and study. And for anyone else that's going to be looking into this or wanting to. And this is going to be getting into some movie references, specifically The Truman Show, because there's a scene to where someone's speaking to Truman and showing something that's looking like this. As I want you to remember this interior style or this background, this one in particular, because this is depicting, the nose. You're going to be on either the tail end or the front end. You have the bow, and ships are usually referred to as she or as a female. And this is a close-up of a previous one, a little bit more clear, and you can see the Hermetic Roof title a little bit more clear. But as you can see here, this pattern, that's the pattern I'm wanting to remember and to picture how this is identical to the scene to where Truman in The Truman Show was getting spoken to by someone in the sky. But the thing is being identical to what Zeppelins look like. Now, it seems as though it could be the moon that they're depicting, but that's something to really go into as well, because there's lounge. If you look at the bottom right, it says lounge. In Greek, the term for moon is going into a synonym for the term lounge, which is very interesting, because that's where we get the term lunge from, or lungs, luna, lung, lounge, lunge, or sea lung. And as you can see here, you can see some other utilizations that these ships are using. You can see there's a variability in these types. This is slightly different. We would recognize these as a type of Zeppelin or UAP, right? Now they're using lasers. And you can see below what's going on. There's 3 of them in this depiction. This is referring to something. We're seeing an article where they say you can see 2 flying next to each other sometimes. Well, this is 3 here. And it can be more. And as you saw in the bomb squadron, there were actually at least 4 or 5, or there's a whole squadron. I'm sure a squadron is a group, but a squadron, you can imagine like 8 or more, or this is, so the groups, packs, schools, it's a school of fish. I know that's loose, but loose and fascinating. This is fascinating, which is translating as extremely interesting. So this would be something like a UAP or a UFO, yet a lot of the cigar-shaped UAP narratives would include that it would be a mothership, so to speak, or literally that's what they would use. And that word usage, and they would say scout craft. They would say, they've been seeing these types of craft in the smaller docking from the more larger elongated, which were we have different examples. Hindenburg, the LED Zeppelins, and as you can see, this one's a little bit lit up, and they're all utilizing similar technologies: lighting, cloaking. And as you can see here, since volcanoes narrative is being mentioned, that what we're calling volcanoes are nothing of what one narrative has been stated. These are damaged buildings that are structures that have functions that are different, and this is nothing of a. This isn't a tree. It's just similar to a popular photo that's stated to be a tree when it's not a tree. This is machinery. This is damage, depending on what state it's in. And this is an example of one you'll find along the plain. Some are plants, and it's something how I was saying plants because that's a play on words. Because plant is something that's generating something. We have, you can say biological plants, and you have these industrial plants. That's far from an accident that it's worded that way. But we know the difference between, a tree, that type of plant, and the other type, like the previous one. So this is an example of a presentation that you can find. The Hindenburg staged event, Oh, the Humanity, which is going into another presentation that I'm going to be covering for whoever's going to be watching this. There's a play on words with the term humanity. So this is a scene from the True Man show. True Man. Ma. As you can see here, that's that pattern that I was wanting you to notice. Notice. Now, like I said, you can say that, that's cloaked, you can imagine, you can see here, but it's similar to the pattern for the ZepLin. And as you can see here, it looks like it can be cloaked, or you can tell by the way this is depicted with the image of the clouds and just the way that it's fitting with the lines and the window or the ship. Whenever these plans are being carried out and these technologies, it's going to be done well. And this is an example, and I just found this very interesting. And they're showing the moon and the sky and different things, but it's very reminiscent of the ZepLin, because you'll see in a subsequent photo that's a subsequent, or as in the next photo coming up in sequence. So this is another screenshot of that scene to where Truman is being spoken to. And this is giving me the ZepLin vibes, or ZepLin-like technology. And as I was pointing out, lounge is a translation or synonym for the term in Greek for the moon. It's Fingari. So Fingari is moon in Greek, which is going to lounge. And like I said, that's where we're getting lungs. And lungs in Latin is pulmonary, which is pull moon airy. So your lungs, your lunging, your sea lungs, lungs. So he's showing on this iPad type device, which a lot of us are utilizing in present day, especially the timing of this recording. He's showing the exit. Now, shout out to one of our twins in this truth studying, Jackie in Truth Zone. Free to pay attention. Diana, Dia Dash, and everyone, Boxing Wizard, at the timing of this recording, and everyone else, and everyone that's unnamed at this timing. But exit is a type of entrance as well. and that's where you're getting the term pores. I'm going to be going into that. So my recording was getting paused, but I'm here in this presentation for the term exit. This is the scene in the Truman Show to where it's having that similar architecture or that style for somewhere that's high up or that's easily to be seen, where he's looking at the exit as Truman was finding out the exit or the way out. And so there's an interruption in the recording, yet I was able to start off where the recording was. So there's a lapse, that's why. But an exit is a type of entrance. And the T and the D can be interchanged, so there's enter and ender. And I highly appreciate Truth Zone, Jackie, Boxing Wizard, It's Free to Pay Attention, Diana Dash, for all of, and everyone else that's really not being mentioned, going without being mentioned yet. This is where he's sitting, to where it's having the similar architecture or layout of a ZepLin or somewhere, or it could be a lounge, going similar to the moon. And it's really similar to the ZepLin like layout or outline or the skeleton of that ship or that type. And it's something to really be noteworthy. And as you can see here, there's all this cloaking type things, just like where he was sitting. And as you can see with the references, how cloud making, cloaking. And there's also on the UAP channel, very appropriate for this topic, there's giant cloaked Zeppelins, and that's a reference. You can find that here. I'm not sure what other platforms at the time of this recording the UAP is found, but that's a reference to be included. But as you can see here, he's found a door, or he's found an exit, which an exit is the type of entrance, and it's a type of port, and a gate. And gate is going into the term like a type of movement. That's what we get in the term momentum. And it's also really getting the term portable. So you have a port, you're movable, so that means we're always in motion. So momentum and motion and portability. And here, so based off of where he was looking, speaking to true man, it was looking as though it had clouds and it was being cloaked. And you see how the cloud making device and cloaking technology, and where it can light up and camouflage itself. What is this referencing? And it's just showing here. It's showing, and that's where I'm at with that. Is that I know that Zeppelin's, something moving by. Hey, that could include this, but it's stimulations of thought to have different ideas. Yet there is a form of mockery. There are types of mockery, but then there's different types of analogies, or analogies are never perfect yet. That's where you get the term analogousness. And there's a famous UFO photo, UAP photo, still being relevant to the topic at hand. This is an depiction here. You can zoom in to what this is saying right here, and it actually says LED. It looks like Zeppelin, but it looks like LED. It's really small from what I'm seeing. I have really good eyesight, but it almost looks like LED, and as it shows you, that's like lit up, and you can see here, you can almost see through it. You see how it's having this pattern here, but it's I love it because this is such a great photo here, because I know it's a photo, it's a, either way, this depiction is showing the architecture below. I love it. I love this, everything with the columns, it's just showing it all. And this is the other thing, it's kind of showing that as well. This is a famous UFO photo that they said, oh, it's aliens. Alien means a property. You put a lien on a house or something, a lien, that means property. So you can see the parallel ability of all these depictions, and comparison is the basis of intelligence. So this is very similar to what was just being shown in plain sight. So there's a question, what's really going on? All this based on this propaganda that's being stated. Well, hopefully a lot of these depictions are clearing that up for a lot of us, and a lot of individuals who are going to be viewing this. But growing up, they would use this fear propaganda just as volcanoes and different things, but all the time these are being utilized to scare us. These different technologies, a lot of there's been runovers from the old world and kept within circles, whether it be the military and it's the military industrial complex. And there's a specific title for this photo. Yeah, you can see it has that classic how they would tell people UAPs or UFOs look. It kind of has that saucer shape, the flying saucers. Yet a lot of them were stated to have been coming out of the motherships, which would be cigar shaped, which would be these ZepLins. That layout, that type, or that model. And again, if you look at whales, with the comparative functionality, a lot of birds, if you take their wings away, and fish and just different things, they have that same type. Or even dolphins, it has that streamline to be able to travel throughout a medium, whether it be the water or the air. It's like a streamlined shape. And it can be this as well, clearly, because there's many footages in real life witnessing, which a testament is a type of witnessing as well. Test is going to the term witness, and witty witness is like your wit. It's like your intelligence. So your witness is your intelligence. Witness. So testament, test of mind. So it's intelligence of the mind. I'm really loving this photo. I know this has been on this one, but it's just smack down, just so clear, based off of what's depicted. I love it. The UAP is lit up, just like the mother, right? The mothership. And ships are referred to as woman. The vessel. And that term is even going into another definition that's referring to another parameter, which is very interesting. But you can see lights kind of going off from this. This could have been Photoshopped, and it's already black and white. But this is the type of things that we were taught, and fed. in schools and indoctrination systems, and they would have these as taboo topics. But of course, because if you go too far down, you would find out that the military is involved, and it's already acknowledged. They're unable to hide that much, so they acknowledge that in different shows such as Ancient Aliens and different things, and they all give clues. They tell truth in there, such as before all these events, there's always these ships seen similar to this. I wonder why. As we've seen, they're utilizing these laser technologies, and even where I live, there's been reports where I've seen different ships and crafts, and there's also been an article in a town next 30 minutes away from me showing a laser. So this here is being clearly comparative to the Truman Show scene, which is inside of one of these ships, and what it would look like, or what it looks like. This is made to actually be as close as possible, spot on to these types of things. And this is a lounge. You see how soothing this is, how comfortable this setting is. This is very serene, which is going to that term siren, serene. Here's a black and white photo. It's a little sepia tone, a little bit, tiny bit, but look, you have your windows separating the slanting windows, so just to prevent someone from falling through. But yeah, it was going quick. You can go pause that photo, but that just was another publication showing what it's looking like. So this is a photo of a cigar-shaped UFO, according to the search result and the footage. You can find many footages of cigar-shaped UFOs or UAPs, and these are in pictures. You can see they call them scout craft, to where the smaller ones around it, but you can see off in the distance there's other cigar-shaped UAPs or UFOs, and they light up in different ways. Now, the locomotion of a lot of these suggests high technicality, high intelligence, high functioning, encountered by high strangeness a lot of times in these events. So we can just see the analogousness of the functionality of some ships that we may encounter, or different technologies compared to others. Sometimes they're showing more higher functionality and technicality and lower, yet we see the variability, because a lot of times it could be done on purpose just to show, oh, look, it's just moving slow, that's the only capability it has. And we've sometimes been influenced to think that it's just balloons, like balloon type, like it's just a blimp, and they'll have that, where it's just, that's associated with less functionality, yet it gets really high tech, because it's going to be going into even submerged technology as well. And that's where you get the term, it's similar to UAP, but it's submerged, unidentified submerged object. So it would be a USP or USO. I'm saying phenomena, because that can be, it's these different acronyms, because UAP stands for unidentified aerial phenomena. So accurately you could say unidentified submerged phenomena, but USO is used really often, so that would be an unidentified submerged object, USO. So this is an example of cigar shaped, lit up, and as you can see, you're unable to really see fins or any of the other apparatuses that are usually involved. with some of them, yet there can be variability with that, because we'll see there's other parallels that point to the parallels of the Zeppelins and these cigar shaped, right, or streamline shaped vessels or ships, and more specifically airships and submerged or submergible ships. And this is being really similar to what I was seeing before. They were lit up just like this, precisely. And here, going with the volcano topic, they're very related to volcanoes. They're always seen in combination with volcanoes, which is the smoking gun in my book, because that was something that was always pointed out. Researchers from all different countries, and that shows that it's a group effort. And the military is the commonality between all of this, because there's many references to these particular objects, going into so-called volcanoes, which are buildings as we know now, and setting them off. There's CGI involved. They're shooting lasers. They're pre-setting these with explosives, just like in a science experiment. Science is really PSYENSE, like psi, the mind, science. That's equaling 33 in the cipher and gematria. Cipher, Zephyr. Very interesting. So the original functioning of these airships, were for travel and different capabilities, yet as we can see with many of these, it's all here in plain sight for your study and review and for your own research. And one of my other people that I'm wanting to shout out is Fred Keese, Research My Research, and Jennifer, the Truth Seeker 69, and other meltologists as well, Jerry DeCamp, Desmond Anthony, the Red Brick University, Spartan Red, so many, Pants on the Ground. There's so many of us, and once you know about this, you're a meltologist. In other words, someone who studies this new comprehension of what we're actually seeing or what we're experiencing, based in comparison clearly to what has been said otherwise. So there are truths that we have in common. Some people say our truth's your truth. Well, we are more alike than different, which just seems like a catch-22. Yet that's where we get in the term synapse or synchronization. But then there's comprehension. You can know, which know in Greek is zero, which goes to the term cipher or a coded message. And it's similar to the term Zephyr or ZepLin or Zephyr. It's very interesting or fascinating. I love that parameter of fasten and loose, because if you add an H that's loose, it's like there's something loose, but you want to hold on to your, there's these different parameters. It's always these. So you can see here, there's many footages showing the relationship between volcanoes going off and these cigar-shaped or elongated ships. And they're lit up. Oftentimes, they're having their strategies of what they're doing and the narratives and the effects that they're wanting to give off to the audiences, the you can say the general population. Yeah, there's more people in the know. There's people have different perspectives, more insights into what's going on. Yet this is clarification about the relationship between UAPs and this, and also the subject of USOs to be included. And I love how the smoke, or the clouds, as we would say, you can say it's coming off from the center, but clearly this is the answer to the question, what's up with that? What's up with the UAPs being around volcanoes? And they would always say that, what's their fascination with volcanoes? There's a researcher from Mexico named Jamie, and he goes into that, mentions that a lot. And now you can see, because it's fake, the narrative about volcanoes is totally just, and this is the answer to how, and this is a ZepLin showing how when people unlodge, a lot of times they will go to buildings, because this realm was full of buildings, way much more than it is now. Yet many would be towering into the skies, which is why they're called towers. And a lot of our airships, we would travel that way as well. And there's many airships still around. It's just being utilized in different ways. I say airships, but also submergible. And this is an example of different capabilities, how they would tilt. And yes, there's more clarifications about, well, how would the passengers be on the inside, and that's things to be clarified, and the legitimacy of some of these depictions. Yet there's many photos you can find of the Zeppelins, and the thing is, like where they're being positioned in certain ways, different ways, like vertical like this, more slanted, or allowing the passengers to come off near the beginning of the ship. And I'm sure also underneath, and there's different entrances and exits. Yet even why would these be showed? Because you have to be able to get on and off. It's just like a building. There's an entrance and an exit. There's always a way out. But how that is, and there's different reasons why we get shown different things. Because it's, that's going with the true definition of a psyop. It's a psychological operation. And we just can get swayed to or attempted to get influenced to thinking in a certain direction, or thinking of topics in certain ways. It's a type of perception deception. But we can see the truth in plain sight once we get that capability, or we have it, whether we've always had it since we've been here. And this is another melted building, which is wanting to be passed off by certain groups to think of it as what they're saying. It's a volcano, but it's another UAP. But this time it's unlit up. But they do light up. This one's lit up. And this is another damaged, melted building from the old world, what we're calling before the event, all the damage. Yeah, this is giving insights into the damage that's here and that's being caused in the different propagandas. You can see here, there's always these Zeppelins, or these Zeppelin-like craft around whenever these events are going off, these so-called volcanoes. And just like a science experiment, you plant your things and they come here with the lasers and they make them come off. And this is analogous to the patch, the military patch you were seeing at the very start of this presentation. As you can see here, just like the Zeppelins, they can bow down, the bow of the ship. You know, all these references. You know, even we bow down, we can bow, but where they go vertical, and they're always seen in combination. You know, there's footages, and the fact that we have footage available, yes, there will be civilians recording as well. Yet this is a depiction of a type even without the extra fins, the other things that's associated sometimes, you know. But of course, there's way more types. And it's just that streamlined to where you can see it's almost as though it would be capable of fast or speedy traveling capabilities. This is a different type. This is having that more cigar-y shape or effect in a midline. And you know, this is going toward its functionality. You know, the different ways that it operates, locomotion, the way that its motion, that's loco. The locality, location. That's what loco and loci means. The crazy means following your guidance, or you know, your system of movement, placement, mind. And at the bottom here, this person, you can zoom in, this bubble narrative dialogue, you know, basically acknowledging when did submergible and flying objects come about, basically. I can read it, but my screen's really small, but I know I said it for this presentation. Yet this is just showing how it's just a type of flying and submergible technology that exists. And as you can see here, you know, this is another type. In its physiology, or its countenance. So here, you know, this is more submergible. Yet at the same time, you know, this is an example of how you can have different capabilities. This is one that would be able to fly as well as go into the water. So, and a lot of this has been observed, and this is known by, you know, different military personnel, people involved with everything, because the USO subject is a big subject as well. The unidentified submerged object subject. So as we covered here, because a lot of us are so-called on land, you know, to where we're out in the air, but we're also out in the water, around water, the flooded waters, because that's the flood waters, the oceans, and a lot of the where the water's placement is today. And this is an example of one actually in the water. So, and a lot of times some of these are huge. You can be very, very large. And there's people who've seen different crafts similar to these coming in and out of water, and very striking, you know, to the observers, and the different capabilities that would be witnessed. And you know, a lot of us would just identify that it's a submarine. That's another cigar-shaped, non-lit up. And you can see here the Zeppelins. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them in this bomb squadron military patch. And as we'll see in these next photos, this is an article from July of this year, of 2023, at the time of this recording. And you can pause and read this and do your. This is public information. I was interrupted again, yet I'm resuming, and you can pause this and go look into this more yourself. Yeah, this is an article that was published in July of 2023 at the timing of this recording of this year. So it was in reference that it was earlier this year. And it says service members with the Minot Air Force Base returned Moon Day from overseas training in the Indo-Pacific. So there goes that Indo term again. Indo-European, Indo. Everywhere is Indo. There's Indians in America. There's Indian everywhere. Everywhere is Indo. Indra, all that. That's all references to these things. Ryan Lauk said about 130 service members were gone for about a month supporting the Bomber Task Force. We're seeing what's involved with that bomb squadron. He said that they worked with the U.S. Navy, Marines. Isn't it fascinating that Marines is called Marines? Marine is referring to water. And Army members. In addition to partnering with parallel service members from other countries. Parallel service members from other countries. That's interesting. This is a one system. Lauk said they were typically deployed anywhere from 1 to 7 months or months. So that is saying that there is a group effort with parallel service members from other countries. This is a public article. Published on July 25th. Published. I know you get what I'm pointing out. July 25th, 2023. It's 6:47 p.m. You can look into all these references that are here in this article. You can look this up, but before this screen, or the screenshot, it was referenced what the title of this article is. So, this is a very interesting point out and a clarification for anyone that's seeking more answers and clarifications on these topics in particular. There's just many who want to know the truth. We've seen the X-Files that say the truth is out there, and all these references. Of course, it's called the X-Files. Why the X? It's all these different references. And as we see in this Truman Show, the Jim Carrey character really shows a lot of truths in the movies that he's in, such as The Mask. He was in the Mask movie. We know they wear masks. Even mascara, makeup is a type of mask, and that's all it is. It's just the etymology of these terms to comprehend what's being stated. And a lot of these truths are in plain sight, which is occult, ocular, or occult, like it's in sight. Ocular means to see. And also, we have a term called esoteric. That's in Greek. Inside means it's esoterikos. So esoteric is on the inside, and so if something is to be secreted, that means you have to have it, or so. And it's a type of mist as well. So a mystery is something to be mystified, or sprayed from within, or secreted. So secrets are to be secreted. So these are all different parameters, since the language is being used with everything, including this article, the written and the verbal. So I highly appreciate you, everyone. I appreciate you, Ryan. You know who you are. I love you, and I love everyone. I highly appreciate you all, and I'll be speaking with you all soon. Again, I love you all, my brothers and sisters in truth, and have great dias and love and truth and appreciation. Amor is like armor, so I love that. Armor. So amor and aroma, smell. If you rearrange amor, it's aroma. So te amo, I love you all. A PS, postscriptum. This is a newspaper article from where I am, and a dear person of mine, a twin. You know who you are. I love you as well, and you are so integral to so much. As I appreciate you and everyone of the likeness, that's in our sphere. That you were sending me this article, and I highly appreciate you. And this is actually the air strip that's nearby where I am, and I was referencing this inside of this presentation, but this article is referencing this airport that's nearby where I live, and there's always types of different craft, and this is exactly where I saw the ZepLin where I am. So it's all related. I'm always seeing different crafts, and it's really standoutish, and I was really wanting to just put this on the icing on the cake, and I just love how things really come about, and I appreciate you all, and I appreciate all the different segments that I had to splice this presentation into, yet it's well worth it, and I love how it's all unfolding. So I really, truly do appreciate you all, especially you. I could say AAA, or I could say Ollie or All I. Well, I highly appreciate you, Chugger, Finn, and I have some more play on words about that too as well. Yet, at to set the timing of this recording. Yet, yes, it's my tribe, which goes to the term thrive. If you take the H off, it's a tribe. You can interchange the V and the B, and so literally that's thrive, tribe, or trive. And it goes into the term trivial, which that's in something to look into that definition for the usage of that term trivial, because that's the same root word for tribe or tribe, tribal. So yeah, your tribe is having its purpose or purpose to thrive. So yeah, I highly appreciate you all, and have a great day where you are. All right.